no more 9 to 5, no more PTO.
Let's go.
No more like press pause so I can go to the bathroom, unpause, I'm back. Like no more of that. So we collectively were like, are we just gonna like go for it and just like not quit life, but quit our like comfortable salary? Like, are we just try it out? And we just went for it and it exploded. Thank God.
All right. Welcome to a new episode of Real Estate vs. Technology. I'm your host, Norman Kinsey. We have our co-host, Mr. Dan Gandy, who's a little tired from the little one, but welcome to the show, bro.
Thank you. Excited to be here.
Of course. And so before we go ahead and let you know who our special guests are, we have two today, not one, we have two. We just want to encourage everyone to like the episode, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and then when you're done, comment below with what you learned so you can take what you learn and apply it to your business and have more success with the process. So today we're going to go to San Diego and we are going to go ahead and meet the Horton real estate team. And we have Brian and we have Kelli on Real Estate vs. Technology today.
Thanks for having us.
Of course, we're excited to have you on. And we were just before we got on air, we were talking about a little bit about what makes you all unique and different and what have you. And I love how it was just like, we get the fucking job done. You know, it's do what you got to do to go to bat, hit the home run for your buyers, for your sellers, for your investors. And I love that. So we're going to deep dive a little bit into that. We want to start off with your story first. So before y'all met, before you had your license, what did that look like? And then you got your license and then you came together. Now you have this team. You just had a baby a year ago. So give us some context of where you're at today with your business.
You want to start?
Where we are today? Or
how'd you get there? What's your story? Yeah. Give us
your Reader's Digest version.
Yeah.
I'll try to keep it somewhat quick. I came from Orange County originally. We both grew up playing sports. So that was that's a big part of our lives, I guess you could say. I came to San Diego State for basketball, and I pretty much have been here ever since. And then, she can get some more detail there. But she's from Arizona. And oh, from AZ too?
I'm in Gilbert, Arizona right now.
Oh, nice.
Go Suns.
Okay.
Let's go.
So my backstory, I came from tech. Like I was project managing tech, which is kind of funny, which has helped like snowball the business a ton because we do have that background, thank God. But born and raised in Phoenix, and then I played soccer at University of San Francisco, go Dons.
Let's go.
And that was really nice. And I just ended up moving to San Diego in 2015. I didn't really have any massive direction. And I ended up renting a house, and the owner of the house was like, oh, you're pretty good at this. Like, do you want to be an agent? And I'm like, oh, how do I do that? So I just kind of got my license and it just like took off from there. I got licensed in 16 and then ended up winning Rookie of the Year for my brokerage in 18.
Wow. Congrats.
Brian, we met when I was like struggling to pass the test. So that gives you like, we were way at the beginning, and I kind of did it for, 18 months. And I was like, babe, like this could be a real thing. Like this could be it for us. Like no more 9 to 5, no more PTO.
Let's go.
No more like press pause so I can go to the bathroom, unpause, I'm back. Like no more of that. So we collectively were like, are we just going to like go for it and just like not quit life, but quit our like comfortable salary? Like, are we just try it out? And we just went for it and it exploded. Thank God.
Wow. I can see with the social media side of things. So Kelli Horton down below is a link to go ahead and go to her Instagram page. Before we're on going live, she was talking about how she changed the name. Everyone's like, are you out of the business? What's going on? So I can see that you're doing a really good job with tech, lifestyle photography, videography. It looks really professional. And so like, how did like the brand come up for? It's actually not Horton Real Estate. It's actually, if you want to go to the website, it's going to be soldbyhorton.com. How'd you come up with the site, the concept, the logo? You just since the beginning, or?
Well, Babe's last name is Horton, so I married it that, which
Love it.
I'm not mad at because Horton's a pretty strong name in San Diego.
Nice.
But I don't know. We toyed with a bunch of different names. We wanted to do, we tried a couple like fun little like play on word things, and we were like, wait, why not just make it strong and keep it Horton? We're not going anywhere.
Yes.
In the blue and white, every well-renowned, team or brokerage, et cetera, it's not like bright orange and yellow. It's like navy, maroon, forest, you know,
Yes.
tan, browns, blacks. So we just wanted to keep that vibe going.
Wow. That's super cool. That's awesome. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, yeah, like when we first started out, we started how most agents do on a team. And after we kind of got the experience, we feel like we grew our skills. After a certain point, we're like, okay, let's move on and kind of start our own team. We felt like we were able to do it without the backing of the team we're on at the time. So we kind of, like Kelli said, we went to start our own thing, and we played with a couple different names, before Sold by Horton, it was something else. And then we're like, okay, look, let's go with just our name. Let's try to make it, official and strong. And it just kind of grew into what it is now.
That's huge. I think for the viewers and listeners out there, it's good for them to take it and think about the fact like joining a team isn't a bad idea because you can see what they're doing. There you have it.
You're brand new. It's the best. Because a lot of people come back like and think like, oh, it just happened so easy. And you have like a nice house and you drive a nice car. And it's like, it wasn't like that when we were scraping up pennies and eating PBJs in the kitchen. Like it was never like that. You know what I mean? So I personally would encourage everyone, especially that's new, to get on a team that can give you leads, give you training. That's it. Leads and training. Do that for a few years and then take a step back and reevaluate and see if you're able to do it on your own. Because it's not cheap either when you go on your own. It is not cheap. And we'll get into technology and all that a little bit later, but it's definitely not cheap to go at it on your own or to prospect, right? Like people don't like dialing, people don't like door knocking, but we eat that shit up.
Exactly. I've been recruiting like the last 2 or 3 years with my own team. And, when somebody comes into the ecosystem, I jump on my initial call with them and they're like, I don't want people to tell me what to do. And I know nothing about real estate. And I'm like, oh, well, you should join a team. And then they're like, absolutely not. I would never join a team. I'm like, great. This is an awesome conversation. It was great to meet you. Click. Like I immediately just I end the conversation within 5 minutes every time. And I just move on. Because you got to have somebody that's coachable. You got to be able to learn. You got to be a sponge for mentorship and guidance. And I think a lot of people who join a real estate industry think it's just like flashy cars, nice houses, and like 2 months later you're making 500 grand. So you're right.
So easy. They're just like, oh yeah, I know someone that just bought a house last month. They're like, I should just be a real estate agent, just find my house and we'll throw in an offer and we'll get paid. And it's like, there's so much that goes into it. You have to wear so many hats, manage emotions. There's just so many things that people don't understand. They initially get into real estate thinking it's easy, but you do need that a team to help with guidance, accountability, and then of course like the financial side of things, like Kelli said. If you don't know what you're doing, you can accidentally dump your money into the wrong things that don't necessarily help your business.
We've been there. We've dumped our money into the wrong things quite a few times.
Wow.
There's a lot of testing that goes on.
Similar to what you said, we've recruited agents too, and like there has to be a degree of them being receptive and open to actually learning and applying. And if that's not there, they could learn, they could take it all in, but it's like, where's the application? If they can't apply it and it's constantly micromanaging, you just need to go grab a salary job. You know what I mean? People don't understand like, oh, you have your own schedule and you can just go to the beach on a Tuesday, but like you have to structure your own thing all the time. And it's not to literally structure your own schedule every day or every week and stick to it. When you don't have a boss that's like, you need to be up at 6 a.m. You need to, like, when you don't have that, like, you have to find that drive within. And that's very hard for a lot of people. It's really hard.
Wow. I think that's great for the viewers and listeners. So if anyone out there who's listening and has got their license, try and join a team or whatever, and they're getting shot down all the time, they're like, what's going on? Why is everyone shooting me down? And why can't I join this team or that team or whatever? Or people are giving you feedback and you're like, oh, I don't care. Like maybe try to be a little more coachable and actually join a team, is from what I'm gathering, and be a little bit more coachable. Cause I feel like you have to be coachable, because then you have to coach your clients. And like you said, like there's a lot of emotions that come into the whole process of transacting, and people have this emotional connection to this house. Like, oh my God, I grew up here and did this and did that. And that's great. well, we gotta look at the numbers and where do you want to go and what's your goals and all that other stuff. And so I think this is a great segue to go to the mix up round and have Dan deep dive a little bit more into the tech behind y'all and what you did after going on your own with your team and where you're at now with all that. So I'm gonna let Dan take it away for the mix up round. I'm curious myself.
Thanks, Norm. So in terms of business now, right? I know you probably guys have like a pretty thriving past client list, but what are you doing to drive more connections and more opportunities with new business, new relationships?
Do you want to start?
Yeah, I'll start. So as far as our past clients, we use Client Giant. I'm sure everyone's heard of it, but we love it. And basically for $100 a year, you send a gift every quarter. And it's really cute, kind of, you know, cheesy gifts, but like people will text me like, oh my God, this is so great. And an eye mask or like, you know, whatever we send. So that helps a lot with retention. We just want people to know that we're thinking about them. We love you, you know, et cetera. But with the tech right now, as far as new business, I'd say on the social side, me personally, because I'm a creep.
Yeah.
I will look at like wedding venues or look at hashtags, look at people that just got engaged, people, you know, San Diego engagement, people that just got married, people that are probably going to be in the market to buy. And that's how I say in the past we've gotten a ton of buyers is we'll reach out to these people and say, hey, you just got married. What's the next step? And so a lot of the times people will say, oh my God, you're right. Thought about it. We're 12 months out. We're saving for down payment. And outside of anything else, you just get that one little second of like a follow back and boom, it's a drip. That's what people don't understand also is that social media is a huge drip. If someone follows you, I'm talking on my story every day, even if it's about the baby, about our dogs. We have 3 dogs, boys, and they're great.
Nice.
Oh, I love it.
If it's about the beach or, oh, this restaurant just opened in this city or whatever, like it's just an automatic, natural, organic drip on people every day. They just see your face every day. And I've been told I'm kind of entertaining on social. My stories, I literally can talk to all day. It's totally fine.
Love it.
But that's kind of, I'd say for social media, the route we've taken that's a little bit newer that people might not know is like use hashtags, like use locations, use venues, like reach out to these people in areas and see like what the community's doing and who's ready to buy a house as far as buyers.
Right.
Wow.
I think it's really just about, you know, the creativity and the consistency. You know what I mean? Going on social media, looking up hashtags, that's not necessarily like the most complicated thing, but it's creative. You know, there's not a ton of people doing that. So, you know, I think it's good to mix that creativity with the consistency. Like, for example, one thing that we do is we send mailers, you know, we send postcards to houses, but we try to set ourselves apart just a little bit. Whereas our mailers that we have, they have, what's it called?
The QR code.
Yeah. They have a QR code, you know, where it automatically allows them to pull up information about their house, what their house can be sold for, things like that. So it's like, it's consistency. You know, the biggest thing is staying top of mind, but we add little elements of creativity that helps drive business, get more clients, and then, you know, retain the clients that we've worked with in the past.
I think too, because we're younger, right? The average agent is like 45 and up or 50, or I don't know what the stat is, probably changed since
like 54.
Yeah. So I feel like the fact that we are younger, we are like innovative. We want to make sure people know that we're like progressive with like tech. Like, it's not like we're gonna hand you a 20-page hard copy contract, you know, like there's tons of ways that millennials, yes, I'm a millennial, that we try to think outside the box to stay relevant and stay progressive while tech is like ever changing all the time. It's hard to keep up with, but it's definitely something we pride ourselves on.
I think you brought up a good point. I won a listing the other day, and not to talk about myself, but I thought it was really funny because exactly what you just said. They had already had listed with somebody else, and then like it was photos on their phone. There was no drone. There was no like marketing plan. There was nothing. And this lady is like a principal broker. Like, she owns her own office, and they ended up canceling with her, and they called me up because a neighbor down the street, but that really nice house. And the first thing I said, I was like, if you want to hire somebody that can do exactly what she did, like there's probably 1,000 people in the phone book. But I was like, if you want somebody who's going to take this and like market it correctly, try innovative things to generate leads. And if you're allowing me to double in the deal, like I'm going to try to find a buyer as much as possible in order to bring the customer or bring the showing. And I think a lot of agents out there are traditionally put into a box of thinking.
Mm-hmm.
And exactly what you guys say is you guys are flexible, capable, and maneuvering through the market to be agile. And I think that's like you guys were talking before we got on this podcast, you were talking about how you guys have grit, right? You're willing to do the things that your counterparts are probably not willing to do. And I think that's what separates you. You mix risk, technology, innovation, grit, hard work. Like that's exactly what a seller needs in this market.
Right. And we try to use the technology too to, the biggest thing is just helping people, make their lives easier, make things easier for them. Sometimes like there's all this technology and too many options out there. And if you throw too much at a potential client, it could get confusing, and not everyone, is as good with technology and social media. So, we really try to use it to make sure things are easier for people. We try to make the process easier, more comfortable, those types of things. Whereas like, you don't want to just get too much technology and just too many, gadgets and different things. You throw at all of these people and you could
tech fatigue
them or get a little bit more overwhelming.
And I think too, like the nitty gritty stuff factors into like friendships also. Like we don't want to just sell your house and you just never talk to us again. Like we want to meet the kids, meet your dogs, like invite you to client events that we throw. Like we want to get deep and personal with people that we work with. And sometimes that requires us to do probably shit we shouldn't do. You know what I mean? not stuff like that per se, but just like that in current, like the fact that the foundation of the relationship grows, like it causes us to want to like work hard for that person, as opposed to just like a stuffy, like, oh, I'll sell your house, sign here, thanks, bye. Stuffy. We're trying to take the stuff out of real estate because it's stuffy. It's just like stuffy. I don't even know what else to say.
No, it's clients become friends versus clients just remain clients. And I think that's a huge part of your business. Now, last thing I wanted to talk about before I hand it back to Norman is the dynamic of working with your other half, right? I think that is a big aha in some people that are going to be tuning into this. Like my wife's talked about getting a real estate license, but I'm like, me and her are both like OCD, high D. Like I was like, I don't know if that's a good idea. We're both how do you guys complement each other? How do you guys work in a transaction? Like, is there somebody that's the marketing person? Is there somebody that's the contract person? Like, explain the dynamic.
Yeah. So, I mean, I feel like what helps us is that our personalities, they're not completely opposite, but they are opposite enough to where like I'm more of the calm one. She's a little bit more like excited, I guess you could say, or I don't know what the right word is.
That's polite.
But it does having the different personalities does help us with clients because, the biggest thing with real estate is being relatable with the people you're working with. They have to know, like, and trust you. And, I feel like we can go into maybe a listing appointment with another couple or with anybody. And if they're maybe a little bit more calm and maybe a little bit more level like me, we might be able to relate, and that will help us get that deal. And then same with her. If they're a little bit more, outgoing, more energetic, I guess you could say, then they can relate as well, and that helps us get that deal. So I feel like stuff like that helps. And then depending on how clients come to us, we don't go after every transaction or every client. We don't handle them both together fully, like sometimes she has a better relationship, and although we're both helping and working together, if she has a better relationship, she's kind of handling that transaction. I'm not in there like, hey, you need to be doing this and doing that and doing this like that.
Yeah.
So we're like I feel like we would butt heads if one of us were like that, and same thing for me. If I have someone that comes to me and we have a little bit better relationship, I kind of take the reins rather than, she's still there helping, doing things, but she's not in there like trying to tell me what to do. We're not butting heads, and it's not like where she might run her business one way and I might run mine a different way. You know, that's okay because we're both not in there like, hey, you need to be doing it like this or doing it like that. So it ends up working out because of that.
Who's the better negotiator?
Oh.
I love it. And I can see that sometimes, that even though, you know, whatever, you guys can not punch each other out after this podcast, but sometimes the more calm one is the better negotiator versus me, where I'm a little bit more aggressive. I'm to the punch. Like, this is what we need. This is what we want, and take it or leave it. Have a good day.
I think too, it helps. Brian's not only an agent, but he's a lender too. So definitely helps. He's licensed lender and agent, and I'm just an agent. But he makes a good point. Like, immediately when you walk into a property, like, read the room, right? Like, who's kind of subdued, who's like in your face, who's like giving direction, who's a decision maker. So I feel like he nailed it. Like, if they're like kind of crazy, then I'm like, oh, what's up? I'm kind of crazy too. And if they're like kind of lax, and it's like, okay, babe, you got this. Like, I'll just chat with the wife about, like, you know, our favorite housewives episodes, or like whatever that looks like, depending on the dynamic. But it really helps that he's a lender also, because then we can really hit both ends and kind of sit down and say, hey, here's what it looks like. Here's what you're netting. Here's the fees, et cetera, et cetera. So yeah, I think the dynamic's good. Before he was a lender, though, at the very beginning when he got licensed, because I was licensed first, I felt like I was kind of like, babe, you need to do it this way. Don't do this. Like, babe, do this, do this. And it just didn't necessarily work because he's not like me. Like, he isn't as aggressive. He isn't as bubbly, rambunctious, etc. Right? Like, I'm IDI and he's like SC. So he's like very calm and analytical, and I'm like driver, like outgoing. So luckily it's worked very well for us. And
it's good dynamic,
right? We have a baby, he's black, I'm white, people love it. Like, people
a lot to relate to, I guess.
Yeah, we can totally relate to like every group, which is like really awesome. And now that we're parents, it's like even better. People are like, bring the baby, bring her here, bring her. And we're just like, she's walking now, so she's a little kind of all over the map.
Yeah. No, this is all good information. I think that I just wanted to highlight that there's a lot of people out there that would potentially go into business with their, you know, their other half or partner. And you guys are a shining example of how to make it successful. So congrats. That's awesome.
Thank you. It's all about the personal dynamic, you know, knowing how each other likes to work, and just making sure you don't step on each other's toes. And you know, as I feel like as long as the communication is there, and like, it's like, hey, you know, I don't like that you do this, or let's have you do this and I do this, you know, as long as you have that in place, I feel like it's easy, and like it's rewarding, you know, when things go well and you're working with your significant other, like, it's rewarding to be like, hey, you did a deal, like, oh, cool, you know, it's just, I don't know, it's more fun when you're both kind of in it a little bit. But I like how some people don't want to be in the same field too.
Kind of like the grimier side of the business, right? Like follow up, cold calling, you know, things like that. I think it also works in our advantage because we are two different people, but we're both licensed. We have two different phone numbers. So it's like, hey, like, I've called this guy like every day for 3 months. He's not answering. Like, you try him, you call him. And it's like, just like that, like, we can both like hit really hard, like our follow-up, because I mean, yeah, they might know our names, but we have two different phone numbers. Our CRM has two different phone numbers. So one person's not getting there, then the other person tries, or vice versa, which is really cool too.
What CRM are you guys using, if you don't mind us?
Follow Boss.
Nice. Yeah, we've had Dan Corkle on here before, and he sponsored our.
I like Follow Boss a lot. It's really great.
It's just the most user-friendly we found. And like, we don't need, that's another thing, people, again, going back to like, you want to try something new, like every 90 days, it's like, just stick to the plan, like stick to what you know, instead of like these next like shiny objects, and like, you'll be fine. And Follow Boss for us is exactly what we need. We don't need anything else. It's like basic and simple as it can be. And like, we're good.
They're probably our like number one referral partner that we refer on the Liftoff agent side when we build more robust websites that work with our IDX. Pretty much Follow Up Boss is like one of the few that integrates, and it's not forcing you to spend a bunch of ad money every month. And it's not also super intrusive or extremely complex to use. You almost have to have like a marketing director to teach everybody. And then it takes 6 months for everybody to learn every bell and whistle. I won't mention any names, but I have 2 very complex CRMs, and I'm still like sometimes just give me like, let me search this person. Let me just call people. I don't want to actually know what phase or stage they're in.
Right. I agree.
Yeah.
Predictive.
Yeah, but great information, good mix up round, and back to Norm.
No, I love that. Thanks so much, Dan, for taking on that round. And just to kind of unpack it really quick, I love a couple of things that kind of stuck out for me as I was putting on my analytical cap there is the Instagram. It's so easy. You have 75,000 followers. And so it's so easy for viewers and listeners for Kelli to go on and to like and to follow. And I love how you like identified your avatar, which is going to be, say, newlyweds and in your specific market where you can like hit them where it's like they're at like the highest pinnacle peak of their emotional state to be like, oh my God, I'm so happy for you. I got married 2 years ago. Here's my baby. And I see you have a baby and I have a pit bull and you have a pit bull too. And like all these things, which I think is huge. And I think people miss the mark on that. You could literally just go on Instagram alone and do all of your marketing, scouting, and everything you need to do. And then for anyone out there that's listening that has a partner, you know that you have a solid relationship and you've met your match when you can not only be with them intimately, but you can also be with them professionally. So I got to say kudos to both of y'all for doing that. You're both doing phenomenal. So that was an amazing mix up round. And yeah, we've had Dan Corker on the show, Follow Up Boss. He sponsored last year's West Next Real Estate event, and hopefully he'll be sponsoring this year's in San Diego. So I love it. But a couple last questions before we open up the floor to both of y'all so you could take it from there. So where are you bringing or where are you taking the organization? So what's your thoughts with the company? So next level broker, like get your broker's license, build a team, like automate the whole thing, travel the world. Like what's the plan?
That's it. Automate everything, travel the world.
I love it.
Yeah.
We would love everything. We're probably going to get more into the investing side of things. And obviously, like everyone else, just buy some properties, rent them out. Right now, we still sell as far as like on the front lines, which we like. And we've noticed too, which has been pretty lucrative for us, is doing referrals in other states, which is nice. We're listing right now in Florida with our nanny. Actually, she's selling her place in Florida. And when I say nitty gritty, there's a tenant in there that's been letting the cats pee everywhere, babies in the house for 4 years. It's like, what are you doing? And this, anyway, we were this close to getting on a flight to Jacksonville, being like, hey, like, dee, like, guess who it is? But obviously we can't like overstep because we do have an agent we were very close with that's kind of taking the listing on for us. But I don't know. The plan right now is we definitely would love to automate our entire life so we can just do whatever we want. I mean, I never really dreamed about being a mom until I met Brian. Thank God. Like what a great. And so I'm like, oh my God, we should definitely make something like this is legit. Let's make a baby. So now that we're parents, sorry, me personally, now that I'm like a mom, like who wants to just like do like the nitty gritty 24/7 and like work all the time and stress out, and then the stress like goes to the baby. So it's kind of like, how can we automate so we can just do baby stuff all day? Like how cute. I mean, we have a full-time nanny, so it's not like all day, but that my whole perspective of like life, business, everything kind of shifted a little after the baby. Because before her, I was like, forget everybody else. We're going to be the top team, do the most business, run ourselves ragged, brag about 18-hour days. Like, yeah, let's brag about it because we're so cool. But now it's like, it's just not practical and it's just not fulfilling. It's not.
Yeah, wow. I would say probably before we had our baby, we were more on like, we wanted to be like $1 million listing.
Yeah,
we wanted to be like the top of the top. But I feel like as time has gone on and having a baby, you find the things that you want in life. I guess, it's more important to us to spend time with our baby and be there for her. And like, ultimately, I would say our goal is to be able to travel the world and, be able to show our daughter the world. I think that trumps everything for us. In my opinion, but
we definitely want her like super cultured, like learn different languages, eat different foods, like see different, ethnicities, races. Like that's like definitely a goal because let's be honest, the youth is like the future, right? The youth is the future.
Amen.
So that's where everyone's time, money, energy, effort should be at some point, in my opinion.
But the goal is definitely, to do all those things and be there. But of course, can't do that if the business isn't working and flowing,
And the team we were on, he forgot to mention this, but the team we were on previously were flippers. So the biggest flippers in the county. And they're still thriving. They're still great. We don't talk to them often, but we have a very good relationship there. So we were never like invested emotionally. They never taught retention. They never taught how to get referrals, sending gifts, having little client events and like warm and fuzzies. It was just like turn and burn, turn and burn, turn and burn.
Is it distressed?
Right.
Yes.
We don't want them
Different model.
I don't care if they call us again, like turn and burn. So when we ended up leaving the team, we really took a lot of, we take a lot of pride, and we really value the relationship now. Especially we're married now, we have a baby now, like we know what these renters are going through getting kicked out, right? Or we know these sellers that need to sell because grandkids are in Pennsylvania or something. So it's like, it's for me personally, just because I am a high I, like I'm very emotionally invested in like a good way, but don't piss me off, because it can go the opposite way as well.
Wow. I love it. I think it's great for, viewers and listeners out there that are going to get they're thinking about getting their license, or they just got their license. Life events will change your mindset and what your value prop is and like what you want to do. And also I love that you're thinking about like the investor side. And I think for a lot of viewers, listeners out there that already thought about this, when it's an investor side, especially like in the commercial world, it's just about the numbers. When you're in a transactional side from a residential standpoint, it's an emotional thing because, had kids and babies and dogs and things have happened in that home. It's a psychological change where you have to then talk to them in a different way and what have you. So I love that you're also thinking too, like what's next for investment. And so that's what my wife and I are doing. We're on the market right now with one of our flips. And so it should close this week, and it's already in contract, but the next 30 days. So we're going through that process. So that way you can have income, Airbnbs, rental properties, the whole nine. Cause then you don't have to transact all the time. A lot of these agents, they just get in the business. They forget to like save for taxes, save for retirement, have a 401k, like have investment properties, leverage your past efforts for future successes. You need to have rental income because you're not there's no recurring model for selling and buying homes. And yeah, you get $30,000 commission minus your taxes, minus a split for partnership or whatever bills you have. And then it's just like, what the heck? So I love that. I absolutely love that. I think that's great. So I think the last thing from our perspective, question wise, let's make it personal and fun. What do y'all like to do for fun?
I have like a personal trainer, so we're in the gym often. Like
love it.
A week, we like to work out a lot, stay active.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like now that we're older, just like with the baby all day, but like we're big on sports. I don't know. We love to I'm a big Lakers fan. We love to like make it to Laker games, sports games.
Let's go.
Yeah, if we could, we'd be in Vegas right now at Summer League, watching basketball. I would say that.
We're also like and this isn't fun for a lot of people, but like this is probably good for like the listeners. We're like very avid readers. And I say that in a sense of like, yeah, everyone reads like how to win friends and how to negotiate and like all these sales books. Like that's great. And that's a really good foundation, but also reading like about like peace. You know what I mean? Like finding that kind of like,
yes,
that juju outside of money. Because when you first get started, let's be real, money's the motivator, right? Money's the motivation, as they say. But after the money's there and you just kind of sit back and you're just kind of like, oh, like all this money is great, but like there's still something missing possibly, or there still might be a little something that's just not really fulfilled. And for that, I encourage people to, just read for fun every now and then. Like it doesn't have to be sales books and, money books and how to be a millionaire in 12 months. Like read for fun too sometimes.
Love it.
That's good. But for fun, we just do baby shit all day. We just
welcome to being parents, right?
Babies. And we have 3 dogs. We love our boys. We take them out. And
one just climbed up here behind
us. I saw that. What up?
Nice.
What's his name?
Arlo.
What's up? Super cute.
He's usually really fluffy, but yeah, he just
he's real clean. Nice, so sorry.
Haircut.
He looks like he's definitely fresh and clean. And I have to say, like, I agree with you because And that's why real estate versus technology is here, because it's a different perspective we can get with our guests that are on the show. So this could be an awesome opportunity for you to use the show for whatever, your own PR, your own website, whatever the case may be, or, someone wants to join your team, and it just gives a different perspective outside of the glitz and glam and the social and the perfect pictures. It's like, who are you as people? And I think that people forget about the fact that, like, yeah, money is great. But you get to a certain point where you don't really, it's like, all right, everything's paid for. I don't need this anymore. So like you said, what's next? And it's so gratifying. Like, for our event, we take care of a charity. So it's an orphanage, Kenya, and we love to give back to them. And so we are going to give 20% of the proceeds for this year's event for that. And so thinking about how can you serve communities, and do more for so much more. So I appreciate you guys for that.
Another little piece of fun, which the average person probably wouldn't call this fun, but like, let's be honest, right? Sales are sales, whether it's house, car, insurance, it doesn't matter, pharmaceuticals. So we're also toying with the idea of like doing something else, like not necessarily changing careers. Like we're always going to have our team and build it out, etc. But like for fun also for us is like starting a business, or maybe we start selling pharmaceuticals, or maybe we just like just something to give you a little mix up, a little off the grid kind of
love it
refresher of just something else. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Half the time talking about investments, what businesses we can start. We're always bouncing ideas like, hey, do you think if I created this, like people would buy it, or blah, 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 like maybe we should do it. So, that kind of thing, like those conversations, that's always fun for us.
I'm like dipping into like baby clothes also.
There you go.
I've gotten like a couple samples of little rompers and things like that. And it's just like, it's a fun little break, but it's funny because starting a business for the average Joe is not fun. People don't, but we eat it up. Like that's our bread and butter, is just like, what can we do next? And again, it's not necessarily about the money. It's about the process of like getting the LLC, getting the team, like getting our CRM, like what's our marketing look like, our branding, our colors, like that stuff is fun. That stuff is super fun.
That's sick. That's super sick. Hey,
it's all good.
Yeah.
And Dan and I are right there with you, right? So Liftoff Agent CEO, Dan, he's a VP. That's real estate marketing support. We got our podcast. We're on it right now. We have What's Next for Real Estate, an annual event. Plus, Dan's an investor. I'm an investor, and I have AZ, RZR, more rent RZRs out. So, completely outside of the norm. Just like, okay, cool. Let's go off road and have some fun and jump some stuff and whatever. And like,
so mobile home parks.
Yeah, he owns a mobile home park. So you never know.
One of my friends has a couple in El Cajon, actually. So that's funny.
That's sick. That's awesome. I love that. Getting a little fresh and deep here. I like both y'all. Like, what do you want our viewers and listeners as we end out our show to take from y'all, as far as they maybe are just getting started, they just got their license, they want to get their license? What's some advice that you would give someone, like say your past self when you first got in?
So for me, it's definitely, if you're new, join a team. Don't fight it. Don't think you can do it all yourself. Even if you're, no offense to like trust fund babies, but that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you have a ton of money and you think you can just start this business. Like if you're brand new and not sure what to do, definitely join a team that will give you leads and training 1,000%. If I could go back, when I first got licensed in 2016, I was at Sotheby's and I was there for like 7-8 months, just at a desk. Like, I think I was like, I don't know what I was doing, but it just wasn't productive. I know that. I was just like kind of looking around at these like big wigs, like guys in their 50s and 60s, and these women that have been in it for 45 years. And I'm just like, how do I land at like a $15 million listing? Just like 7 months, I did absolutely nothing. I had no coaching, no training, nothing.
Wow.
So fast forward, when I left Sotheby's and joined a team, that's when things like completely skyrocketed. So for me, if you're new, definitely join a team. And then the other thing is, it's inevitable, you will 100% experience the burnout. So instead of like I saw this thing online actually from the Duke Duke basketball women's coach. And she said, look, nothing's ever going to get easy. And that's so true. It's never going to get easy. You just have to learn how to deal with hard. You have to deal with hard well. So it's never going to get easy. It's never going to just go away. Like, you just get more comfortable being uncomfortable, So that's another thing too. Join a team, and then you're going to experience burnout 100%. But you just, have to have good support. Like I said, take a step back for a week, read for fun, go hiking, like do something, but the burnout's inevitable. It's going to hit you really hard. So you just have to be prepared of how to deal with it.
Yeah. My best advice, I would say, I know I kind of said consistency before, but I really can't preach it enough, like staying positive and staying consistent. Because no matter what you do real estate wise, even if you join a team, there's going to be activities, there's things for you to do. But if you don't keep doing it, you're not going to see the result. It's just like us and how we played sports. It's like you got to practice and work at your craft, work at whatever it is every day. And it doesn't mean that, hey, if you work hard this week, it doesn't mean that this weekend you're just going to go have like the best game of your life. You know what I mean? It might be an okay game, but the more you work at it, the more you keep staying with what you're doing, it's like those games, so to speak, they get better and they get better. And all of a sudden you're having like a good game every week or every weekend. The same thing happens with real estate. So consistency, positivity, knowing that in real estate, the market is up and down, it goes up and down. And so it's important to stay positive through those downtimes, stay consistent and working hard through those downtimes. And then those ups and downs, they'll start being less downs. There'll be more ups. So that's my best advice to people getting started, or even I guess if you've been in the business for a while, that's what I would push the most.
Wow. Love it. Kelli, Brian, this was an amazing episode. You two are bright, shining stars. We appreciate you being on Real Estate First Technology. This is a lot of fun.
Thank you so much. To meet you guys.
Thanks for having us. It was great.
Yeah, of course. This is great. And Dan, as always, thanks for co-hosting.
Yeah, awesome. Awesome to finally meet you guys. And I followed you and showed you some love. I shared some video clips, so we're good.
Awesome.
Let's go. I have some too. And for all of our viewers and listeners, go ahead and check them out. Follow them below. Links are below. Subscribe to our channel. Now you can comment below with what you learned, as it is our intention for you to take things from our podcast episode to apply to your business, have more massive success. So thanks for tuning in, and we will see you on the next one. Your real one. If you haven't already done so, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, hit the notification bell so you'll be notified for new episodes that come out every single week on Fridays at 3:30 Pacific Standard Time. Also, if you comment on this episode and you like the episode, you'll help this episode get out to more individuals. And if you want to join our Facebook group page, just click a link. It's a Facebook icon on our profile page here on our YouTube channel. Join our group page, network with individuals all across the world, and share what technology you're using to grow your business. The next link is to join our Real Estate First Technology brand new IG or Instagram page. If you go on any of our stories, you can see who's going to be on Real Estate First Technology before it actually goes live on our YouTube channel. And the last link would be if you want to be on an episode of Real Estate First Technology. You pick a date and a time. We'll deep dive into your story and technology you're using to share that with other individuals that view our episodes weekly to inspire, enlighten, show up, and show out for people that love to watch these type of podcasts to have more success in their own business. Thank you so much for your continued support. We appreciate it. We will see you on the next one.